Hello and welcome to Community Designs. I'm your host, Sophie Kneebone, and we're in Sydney today at the Cars Bush Park, where the Georges River Council has just completed an upgrade to their adventure playground and also built this amazing seawall that I'm standing on right now. We're going to be talking to some of the locals who were involved in both projects, so let's get into it. I'm here with Mr. John Rayner, who is the administrator of the Georges River Council. John, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about the park and your involvement in planning it?
Yeah, look, thanks Sophie, and welcome to Georges River and to the park. As you can see, it's a magnificent park.
Yeah, it really is.
It's one of our gems. It's used by people of all ages. From now, particularly that we have the playground, it's used by a lot of young people, and if you look around, you see people of all ages. It's for a coffee, it's sit and have a picnic, it's ride the bike through, have a walk, have a swim, depending on the weather, of course. But it's a really beautiful piece of Georges River, and it just attracts people locally and from all parts of the region. So can you tell us a little bit about the process involved in planning this whole park and getting it up and running? Because I know it was a big project. It only opened last year, I believe. Yeah, the playground opened last year, but going back, this was an original Crown grant, and it changed hands a number of times, and the council bought the land, bought about 120 acres in those days, 53 hectares, back in 1923. And over that time it has subdivided some off, but most of it has stayed as a park, and the park has just developed as the council has put more money into it, put more facilities into it. And the planning for the playground started some years ago by the former Cogra Council, and it was nicely designed. There was community consultation on the elements that should go into it. There's some interesting art features within the playground. And yes, it was opened last year. Cost the council quite a lot, around about $750,000. But as you can see, it's a very, very well used facility. Yeah, absolutely. And what does it mean to you to see so many members of the community coming and enjoying this amazing space? It must be so rewarding for you. It is, but that's what councils are about. Yeah. You know, we improve lifestyles, provide facilities for people. And when you see people using it, that's just I guess it just confirms what council's role is, and it's there to make people happy and listen to those voices.
Yeah, exactly. They're loving it. Yeah, I can see for myself how much the kids love it, and to be honest, I'm desperate to go and have a play myself. John, I know that you were also involved in the seawall project in this space as well. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Yeah, that started some years ago, and it will be finished in 2 or 3 stages. What the work that has been finished now just improves the stability of the bank, because this park, as you can see, interfaces with the water. So it controls the erosion that was occurring. It's improved the local natural ecology of the area, and the council planted around about 10,000 native plants in that area in the first stage. So it's been quite a feature. It's tidied up a section of the park and provided a lot of great environmental benefits. Yeah, that's fantastic. John, thank you so much for joining us today. I think you've done an incredible job, the whole council, with this beautiful space. And you can tell how much it means to the community. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks Sophie. So I'm sitting here with Jana Oswald, who is the director of Umbaco Landscape Architects, which was the architecture firm responsible for the creation of this amazing park that's behind us. Jana, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
I can't stop talking about how much I love this playground. I wish I'd had one like it when I was a kid.
It's very rewarding to see that kids love it and they keep returning to this space. So it's really one of our challenges is to design a unique space that families and children would love to come back and keep coming back, you know, and to have the right balance, I guess, in between the safety and comfort and then creative challenge and a sense of wonder. Can you tell us a little bit about the process, the kind of planning and process behind this project? Because I imagine there would have been a lot of planning involved. Yeah, of course. Well, our challenge really in here was to retrofit life into an old play space structure, because we had to start with the existing shade structures, pathways. We had a number of other elements which we had to consider whether we to keep them or whether to modify them or completely remove them, including some of the trees. So really initially we did a very thorough, detailed site assessment, and that was simply done by conducting a number of site observations during the various times of the day or during different days in a week, so that we could capture different user groups. And that combined with the council's own survey, you know, we started to, I guess, crystallise our ideas on how to create this space. I guess our main challenge was the central ramp, which is in the middle. It had sort of 3 arms and it was all fenced off, and we were procrastinating a little bit. How do we use it? Do we keep it, or because it was outdated, the timber was rotten on the top. But then as we kept coming and observing, we noticed that children, especially younger children, they actually liked using the original ramp. Kids really loved running up and down and playing hide and seek. So we decided, why not? We'd like to be sustainable. Why should we throw away something that is pretty good and usable? So we modified it. We modified it quite cleverly. We removed one arm and we created this focal point in the centre that you can see in the distance there. We created a stage at the bottom with a tower. We opened it up, so we removed some of the fencing. We left 2 arms, and then we just added some steps on one side and this amazing rope bridge with a fire pole. So we really made it a lot more challenging.
What were some of the safety considerations that you had to think of there? Because I'm sure there's a lot of regulations and things that you have to work within.
Yes.
But then you want to be using natural materials and have these amazing designs. So what was the process there?
Yeah, look, essentially it is a little bit harder to create custom-made design because we have to be careful. We actually engaged a playground certifier and we worked with him right from the beginning, and those 3D concepts we had were very helpful initially to convey our design so that he could imagine what we wanted to do, and he gave us lots of feedback so that we could modify the structure, and then the prefabricator could actually build it so that it complies. We added some other favourites of children, such as flying fox here behind.
It's a favourite of mine.
That's right. And this is not just an ordinary flying fox, it's a double flying fox. It's a 30-metre long flying fox. Something
I really love about this playground is that there's so many different creative ways that kids can use the space.
Yes.
Have you observed any, you know, sort of amazingly creative ways of using the playground that you never anticipated, that you never expected? You know, have kids been able to?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. And I guess that's a sign of a good design, that you create something you think kids are going to be using it in a particular way, but they actually find some other innovative way to use it. We try to combine elements that are, I guess, structural and more prescriptive with other elements that are more imaginative and less obvious, you know, how to use.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that a big factor in the design was accessibility and catering for a wide range of ages and abilities. Can you talk a little bit about that and some specific features maybe that are catered towards different kinds of kids?
Yes. Well, one of the first challenges was to consider the existing Liberty Swing, which was actually originally existing on the site. So we have done some investigation, and through council's advice as well, it was decided that the Liberty Swing will stay because there are user groups who would like to come and keep using it. So Liberty Swing is the specialised swing that can be used by wheelchairs.
Right.
So we were able to retain it within our design. We just relocated it into a better location. So that's only one of the things we have used. There is also another little element which is great for all the kids, not just for physically disabled. It's an element which is called carousel, and it's over in a toddler area. It's installed flash with a soft pole, and it actually rotates around.
Right.
So what makes it accessible is that a wheelchair child can come up right onto it, and it can be turned around with it.
Right, amazing.
And because it is placed in a soft fall, in a wet poor rubber soft fall, that means that it's fully accessible surface that this particular child can actually access it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about those? Yeah,
very important. All this rope climbing in various directions, whether horizontally or vertically or just hanging down, is very important for the gross motor skills for young children. Various balancing elements, such as this one, balancing on a rope, tie rope, or we also have a tube slide. To access to the top of the slide is through the ropes as well. So they not just any boring kind of a ladder, they're actually rope steps. So that just adds another element to the challenge. And it actually increases play value. If you pack as much as possible into the space and give more diversity, you know, that just means that you create a space for everyone.
It's incredible, and it's so easy to see from all the happy, laughing kids that are playing on this playground on a Tuesday morning, how much it means to the community. So thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise. It's been really interesting to hear about the process. Thanks, Jana. I'm here with Arabella Lee, who is a Cultural Development Officer and worked on the public art program here at the Adventure Park. Arabella, thank you so much for joining us.
It's lovely to be here.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about the community art project that you worked on in regards to this project.
Well, there were two key things that we really wanted to do, which was to incorporate the natural flora and fauna of the park into artistic elements. And we also wanted to involve local children who would come to the park in the playground, in the actual project.
Amazing. So how did it kind of start? I mean, who came up with it? How did you find kids to be part of the project? Can you tell me a little bit about the process?
Well, we approached Cogra Community Services, who they actually have an out-of-school hours care program, and the kids at this USH centre are kids who come here. They're from Blakehurst Public School, they're from Cogra Public School and Carlton South, and they're all kids who are familiar with the park.
Great.
So we organised a stencil artist. It's a man called Peter Strong, who runs a company called Vector Punk. He does all sorts of amazing things, stencil art workshops, screen printing workshops at festivals. He has wheelie bins that are solar powered that play music. He does all this incredible stuff. He's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And so we approached him, and he ran the first workshop with the children, teaching them how to make stencils and screen printing, and we were able to, within that 2-hour workshop, he's really ambitious, get them to learn how to make a screen print and screen print it and screen print it onto t-shirts and fabrics. So it was really fun for these kids. But there was this funny moment where they're all sitting there going, oh, how do we do this? And then one little guy just got it. It was the first one, and he said, oh, I've got it. And Peter cut it out, and he put it down and he screen printed it and held it up, and all the other kids went, right, okay, I know what to do. And so then we ended up with about 15 stencils, and Peter came back later and actually applied them to the poles.
Amazing.
And they're really beautiful. They're a mix of things. There's a kangaroo, there's a, you know, I'm not quite sure what sort of bird it is, but we've got flannel flowers, kangaroos, Tasmanian tigers, snakes, and the bat, which is my favourite.
And I feel like that would create a really nice sense of ownership for them over the space, because it's such a community focused playground that it must be so nice for them to be able to come down and go, I made that, I did that.
My artwork is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and it's such a popular park as well, and it's so suitable for a whole range of ages.
Yeah. So what other kind of community art is there in the playground?
Well, something else that you can probably just have a look at over here is our owl, which is a powerful owl. And we wanted to have a powerful owl in the playground because they are endangered, but they're also endemic to this area. People are very fond of Cast Park, and they think it's an extremely special place.
Yeah.
And so they're proud of what we've done, and they love the way the playground is kept, and they love the way the park's kept, and they feel like they belong here, and the groundsmen look after it really well. It's such a special place for so many people. So there's a whole combination of factors about this park that really make it perfect for families. Yeah, and kids of all different ages.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. And what does the role of art in projects like this really, what does it mean to you, you know?
Well, I think that it can bring an extra element to a project that you can't have through something that's more utilitarian and can be used. It's something that can become part of your imagination, or a story, or something that you feel that you could make yourself. You can have a personal connection to a work of art that can be lifelong.
I agree.
Yeah.
Arabella, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really fascinating talking to you, and I think you've done an amazing job with the park and with the artwork inside it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sophie. It's been a pleasure to be able to share the story of the park.
The pleasure's all ours. Thank you. Thanks for watching Community Designs. Make sure you tune in next time, but for now, there's only one thing left to do.